So one player obviously on each side. Here's your dice, right? There are some custom dice up here. So if I wanted, I don't know, let's say I wanted this chaos dice. I usually recommend copy pasting it because if you come back to this game later and you take the dice that's there, it won't be there anymore. So I copy paste it. Then you take this dice, you set it right on custom dice, and then you right click custom dice. And now when I load in dice, I'm gonna add 5 dice. Now they're the custom, right? You can hit roll all dice. You can hit clear mat, and then you can do it this way. So you can just kind of drop them in here. That'll roll them, or you can hit roll all dice. Now there's different options here. They're pretty intuitive. No idea what these do, honestly. Never mess with them. But yeah, this is how you load dice. You can roll dice one of 2 ways. There's also these buttons right here. So the right side is for re-rolling, and the left side is for deleting. For Age of Sigmar, usually we do deleting. So like in this case, if I was like hitting on 3s, right? Or actually, let's do an example, right? So it's like 5 or 10 attacks. Let's say I'm hitting on 3s. I'll roll all dice. Okay, so I'm gonna right click this 2, right? Because it's gonna delete this row and then everything before it. I don't want to delete this because if I hit this, it's gonna delete my 3s. So then I roll them again. And then I delete my 2s and below. So I'd be like, okay, you have 5 at whatever rend, right? Whatever, blah, 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 blah. There's also these tokens here, right? So this is your wound counter. So you can just pull one off, put it next to a guy. Left click counts up, right click counts down. This one's just, it's also a wound counter, but honestly, I just use this as a generic counter. So like I'll use this for like priest points or whatever for certain priests. There's certain counters here for just kind of like buffs of like +1 to wound. The hotkey F is for flipping. So in this case, if I flip the +1 to wound, there's a -1 to wound. Hey, now we have a token that says -1 to wound. Let's see. If you ever can't move some things, so like in this case, it won't let me move the active token. Right click and see if it's locked. So go toggles. This one's locked. When I unlock it, now I can move it. And you can copy paste anything that's in here. Again, just left click clicks up, right click clicks down, action points. You can click the text and change it. So like if I'm playing Corn, I can just call this Blood Tithe, right? I can keep track of my Blood Tithe. There's some little cheat sheets here. So here's the GHB season rules. Here's a little sheet that goes over the different phases. The abilities. This is the board itself. This is all for like setup of the board, right? Like in this case, here's the GHB with all the battle plans. So I can right click this. And usually if you're going to do random, you would hit shuffle. Otherwise, if you want to pick a specific one, you would go to state and you just pick whichever one. So like, let's say if I want border war, I'd click border war. Hey, there it is. And then for deploy zones, I'm going to right click, go to state, and then go match the same one, right? So border war. Now we have our deployment zone. Yeah. So again, I think it still works after you select one. So if I hit shuffle, yep, okay, give me limited resources. So now I'm going to change this state to limited resources. And now I have that, right? As far as terrain goes, so the teal bag is the one that's the GW recommended one, the one that's on the other side. The other bags are just like different options. So usually I just use the teal bags, but it's up to you. So for limited resources, I would go here, and this one actually only has one option, and I just click place. And now it places the terrain for me. And then obviously recall is pretty self-explanatory. It'll recall them, so if you change your mind, you can say, no, let's play a different one. Let's play Battle for the Past, then change state. Battle for the Past. And I'm going to do the GW one, place. There you go, your board is set up. When you hover over the terrain, it'll tell you what the terrain is. So place of power, obscuring, area terrain, that kind of thing. For certain battle plans that have special stuff, so like vice objectives, right, where the objectives move, there's the place and the recall for the objectives part. I've never played Star Strike before, so I'm not sure what that does. Your opponent is the same thing, right? Same layout as yours, just mirrored. Scott told me you can actually save stuff. So like if I hit shift I haven't tried this myself. Let me check. So there's a way you can save screens. Maybe it's Control N. One. Shift N. Okay, I'll have to figure that part out. Apparently, there is supposed to be a way where you can save kind of like a view, and then you can load that view. So if you want to like quickly, that way you're not just moving around the battlefield. There's a way to do that. I'm not sure what the hotkeys are, but there is a way to do that. There are these measuring sticks, right? 12, 9, 6, 3. Again, you can copy and paste them like anything else, and then you just kind of move them around. Over here, it's just mostly the dice. I don't really mess with any of these other settings. There's some aura stuff. I haven't messed with this, but you can toy with it if you want to. Here are your battle tactics, right? So here are your faction-specific ones, or whatever that's called. Not your faction, but the Order, Death Alliance, whatever, right? That's those, and then here are your generic ones. As far as I'm aware, this automatic scoring doesn't work. So typically, what we've been playing is, you'll read the battle plan and go, okay, I scored this many points, right? I got my battle tactic, yada yada, and then I score 8 points. Here go, that kind of thing. Otherwise, it's pretty much it after that, right? So then these, like for this one, right? There's defender zone, attacker zone. These yellow lines they should measure 9 inches, right? So you can know that you're outside of 9 of the deployment, right? So when you're dropping them in, just making sure you drop them in somewhere that's legal. Let's see what else. Yeah, moving. You just move. It should measure and tell you. If you ever lose that, right click. Toggle, make sure measure movement is checked on. I think that's pretty much it. It is very like it takes some getting used to, right? Because you have to do a lot of things manually, right? I have to place these manually. I have to move them manually. If you start doing like weird pile-ins and stuff, then you're moving individual models, and then you're counting how many dice. It's not going to do it automatically for you. You got to say, oh, okay, I got 20 attacks. Let me load in 10 dice, another 10 dice. Now I have 20 dice. Roll it, whatever, right? So you have to do it all. It's a simulator, right? It's not a game per se. It's a simulator. So you do have to kind of go through the tedious motions, as it were. But once you get the hang of it, you can do it relatively quickly. And as Cody's mentioned, it's pretty easy to re-rack because you can just remove all your stuff or delete all your stuff or reload the game, reload your army, and then go back to, kind of a thing. But that should be it. Any questions, let us know in the Discord.